Hello and welcome back to Woodworking Monetized. This is the partner episode of episode 10 where I finish my 2 of 4 cornhole boards. Also complete my first commission piece for the Woodworking Monetized channel where I make a stovetop tray or a noodle board, whatever you want to call it. So if you haven't seen that, I'll link it up in the description card and maybe in the description below. I'm offering 6 tips when you are commissioned for your woodworking. Some of these are provided that you go into their place of residence to fit something in or measure something out, and some are not. Also, I'm a novice woodworker. You can tell by any of the episodes you've seen before, so these are by no way comprehensive or expert tips. These are just things that I've learned when being commissioned to do your woodworking. The first tip, manners. Now, I know that you know to be polite, obviously, please and thank you, but my manners tip is to take off your shoes. Yes, take off your shoes when you get into their house. It doesn't matter if it's nice out, if you don't have a single thing on your shoe, it just shows them that you care, that you're polite, and it's not something that everybody does. So take off your shoes. I sold knives, Cutco knives, between the summer between my freshman and sophomore year of college. I hated it, but the one thing I learned from that was they told us to take off your shoes, and I could tell every time I did it that the people that let me into their home appreciated it. So just take them off, make it standard. Tip number 2, ask questions. Please ask questions. It shows that you are paying attention to detail of what they specifically want. I was making a noodle board, and so I brought specifically 2 of these trays. So it shows the slats clearly, they're defined, and I brought another one that I'm trying to hide those. So I brought them both and I asked her that question, do you want it which way? And she hadn't thought of that, and then she chose. Now if I didn't show that, maybe she saw a picture and she anticipated it was going to be one way or the other. I don't know to what degree they know about woodworking, but if you give them examples and you ask those questions, they know specifically what they want, and that removes any potential problems in the future. So, number 3, your third tip is something that might go without saying, but bring supplies. I always bring a notebook and a tape measure and pencil. At the very least, when you take measurements, it would be very unprofessional to go there and ask for a post-it note or a pencil or pen. Come prepared. I measured out and realized that they had a little bit of a gap between their stovetop and their counters, and so she wanted it as far as possible. So even though the standard stovetop is 30 some inches by 22 some inches, she wanted to extend a little bit more. So I was able to measure that and see that it also wasn't square and let her know that as well. This also makes sense when you go back to asking questions. If you're asking all these questions, you're saying, hey, do you want a certain size, width, does that matter to you? Then it would make no sense to ask all those questions and not write it down and not have it with you when you're going to make your piece. I would be ticked off if somebody asked me a specific question what I wanted, and then I didn't get exactly what I said I wanted. Why'd you ask the question if you weren't going to deliver on that? So goes with asking questions, you must take notes, bring those supplies to take those notes. Shows you care. Number 4, establish a retainer. There's nothing worse than starting a project, buying supplies, getting started, and finding out that something happened to the situation and they can no longer do it, and all of a sudden you've put in time and money and energy to something that you're not going to get any money for. So establish a retainer. I usually say 50% up front to cover those supplies or those materials, and then 50% upon delivery. With this specific one, it was $80 that I charged, and I said 40 up front, and she just gave me the $80. Totally fine with me, but at least establish that retainer from the get-go. The sooner the better. Number 5, if everything goes well, this is at the end of the project, things have been going well, you've followed those other steps, you've asked questions, you're delivering on it, ask for pictures. The gal that I'm going to has a very country farmhouse style home. She's got everything in there. I know that she's going to put and sort of stage her things very well on her or her stove cover. So ask for pictures, or at least ask to take your own picture of that finished product you can use in your portfolio. And the sixth tip is to set a time frame and beat that time frame. So if you know it's going to take 3 days, tell them a week and finish it in 3 days. They'll be pleasantly surprised. Those are my 6 tips. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments below if I've missed something or if I am totally way off base. All right, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.